King Thanos is not simply another incarnation of the Mad Titan. He represents Thanos at the end of existence itself. First appearing in Thanos 2016, this future version has succeeded in eradicating nearly all forms of life. His conquest extended far beyond mortal heroes, reaching beings of cosmic stature such as Galactus, the Celestials, the Watchers, and even abstract manifestations like eternity and infinity. From his throne constructed of bones and ashes, he presides over a lifeless cosmos. His only companions are the cosmic Ghost Rider, serving as his herald, and a broken Hulk, enslaved and reduced to little more than a beast. Despite achieving total victory, this triumph left him hollow. Overcome with emptiness, Thanos exists in a universe with no adversaries left to challenge him. Seeking release, he calls his younger self across time, not to train or guide, but to fight in a duel to the death. His reasoning is tied to his devotion to Lady Death, the personification of mortality. Although he has defeated gods and forces of creation, she continues to deny him. Believing only his younger self could provide a worthy end, King Thanos hopes that his death at the hands of a purer Thanos would grant him her acceptance in the afterlife. This storyline, explored in the Thanos Wins arc, leads to an unlikely alliance between the two Thanos versions against the Fallen One, a corrupted Silver Surfer wielding Mjolnir, who leads the Annihilation Wave. The cosmic Ghost Rider scorches the swarm with hellfire, but the Surfer persists, empowered by both the power cosmic and the Asgardian weapon. When King Thanos unleashes the enslaved Hulk, the Surfer appeals to Bruce Banner's buried humanity, temporarily restoring him to human form. In that brief moment of peace, King Thanos ambushes them with the Twilight Sword, impaling both Bruce and the Surfer. Together, the two Thanos counterparts strike the final blow, with King Thanos driving the Surfer's skull onto the handle of Mjolnir, extinguishing the last light in existence. Yet even in this final act, Thanos confesses his greatest failure. Lady Death will never embrace him. His obsession with destruction and his pursuit of balance were for her approval, but by erasing all things, he left himself meaningless, even in her eyes. Horrified by this future, the younger Thanos refuses it, erasing King Thanos' timeline and choosing a different destiny. The reign of King Thanos was absolute, but ultimately without purpose. Rune King Thor represents Thor at his highest point of power, surpassing even the boundaries of divinity. This form was revealed in Thor 1998 during the Ragnarok storyline. As Asgard approached its recurring destruction, Thor discovered that the Norse gods were bound in an endless cycle of death and rebirth, controlled by the threads of fate woven by the Norns. Rejecting his role as a pawn in this pattern, Thor set out on a path of sacrifice and discovery. He gave up one of his eyes in search of wisdom, mirroring the earlier actions of Odin, and endured 9 nights hanging from the world tree Yggdrasil. This ordeal unlocked the secrets of the runes, filling him with boundless knowledge and granting him awareness of all existence. Empowered as Rune King Thor, he no longer embodied only the storm, but became a being of limitless power combined with absolute understanding. With this new state, he confronted the mysterious beings known as those who sit above in shadow, entities who fed on the cycle of Ragnarok and directed the fate of the gods. Once considered untouchable, these rulers of destiny were destroyed by Thor, breaking their control and reshaping the order of the divine. Thor's greatest act came not by preventing Ragnarok, but by allowing it to unfold, not as another repetition of the cycle, but as its final chapter. By permitting Asgard's destruction, he freed his people from their endless prison of fate and ended the repeating wheel forever. Afterward, he entered a cosmic rest, waiting for the moment when the universe might call upon him again. At this level, Rune King Thor possessed the strength and knowledge to rival cosmic entities such as Galactus, Oblivion, and even the Living Tribunal. He transcended the identity of the god of thunder, becoming an agent of transformation who challenged the very rules of existence. His power was not only measured in force, but in his ability to resist inevitability itself and to alter the foundation of universal law. By destroying the forces that dictated fate, Thor demonstrated that even gods could surpass their nature. Rune King Thor became a symbol of defiance, showing that change is possible even in a multiverse bound by endless cycles. His actions reverberated across all creation, proving that true strength lies not only in conquest, but in forging a path beyond what was thought unchangeable. Rune King Thor endures as one of Marvel's most formidable figures, a deity who dared to confront and overcome the very structure of reality. God Emperor Doom represents Victor Von Doom at the peak of his existence, rising far beyond the role of monarch or scientist. This form emerged in Secret Wars 2015, during the collapse of the multiverse caused by incursions, catastrophic collisions between parallel worlds. Joined by Molecule Man and Doctor Strange, Doom sought to prevent reality itself from unraveling. At the final incursion between Earth 616 and the Ultimate Universe, Doom seized the unimaginable power of the Beyonders, cosmic beings capable of destroying entire universes with ease. With their strength stolen, he reshaped reshaped fragments of countless destroyed realities into a single patchwork world known as Battleworld. Declaring himself God Emperor, Doom exercised supreme authority, subjugating even beings such as Galactus and the Living Tribunal. Strange served as his chief enforcer, while Storm, with her memories altered, became his queen. Yet despite achieving complete godhood, Doom remained plagued by doubt. His greatest fear was that Reed Richards, his lifelong adversary, could have used this divine power with greater wisdom. When Reed emerged from the remnants of Earth 616, Doom confronted him and openly admitted this truth. Reed would have been the better god. That confession broke his grip on power, allowing Molecule Man to strip his divinity and grant it to Reed, who used it to restore the multiverse. Doom survived, but the loss left scars that went deeper than any physical wound. For the first time, he sought to change. Removing his iconic mask, he attempted redemption by adopting the mantle of Iron Man in honor of Tony Stark after his death. This version of Doom illustrates human ambition stretched to its furthest edge. Though he shaped Battleworld into his masterpiece, it also became his burden, proof that even with infinite might, he could not silence his own insecurities. His reign as a god ended not through conquest, but through the acknowledgement of his own shortcomings. God Emperor Doom stands as one of the most intricate and powerful figures in Marvel's history. His story is both an exploration of unchecked power and a cautionary reminder that even supreme authority cannot erase human flaws. His transformation from feared ruler to a man seeking redemption highlights the enduring complexity of his character. The Fallen One is a future incarnation of the Silver Surfer, far removed from his time as Galactus' noble herald. In the devastated timeline of Thanos Wins, where King Thanos has exterminated nearly all existence, Norrin Radd endures as the final survivor. Centuries of grief, rage, and isolation transform him into a hardened warrior. Having proven himself worthy of wielding Thor's hammer, he fuses its divine power with the power cosmic, becoming a near-unstoppable titan. This new form leaves his once flawless silver body scarred and infused with black matter, a primal energy tied to the very fabric of galaxies. With this strength, he commands the Annihilation Wave and launches a desperate assault on King Thanos' fortress, Castle Doom. The Cosmic Ghost Rider obliterates the wave with hellfire, yet Norrin presses on, battling both the younger and older Thanos simultaneously. Wielding Mjolnir and cosmic energy together, he pushes them further than any other foe has. When King Thanos unleashes his enslaved Hulk, Norrin reaches deep into Bruce Banner's suppressed humanity, calming the creature and restoring him briefly to human form. But in that fleeting moment of peace, King Thanos strikes from the shadows with the Twilight Sword, piercing both Bruce and Norrin in a merciless attack. The two Thanos incarnations overwhelm him, and King Thanos delivers the final blow by driving Mjolnir's handle through Norrin's skull, snuffing out the last light in existence. The Fallen One represents a hero reforged by despair. Having outlasted Galactus, the Celestials, and all life across the cosmos, he sheds his role as a herald of balance, and instead becomes a lone avenger shaped by endless darkness. His mastery of Mjolnir reflects his fractured nobility, while the black matter amplifies his already immense cosmic might. Yet even this unmatched strength proves insufficient against King Thanos. The Fallen One's tragedy lies in his defiance. Despite knowing the battle was hopeless, he fought to the very end, standing as the universe's last resistance. His scarred body and unbreakable will make him a haunting reminder of resilience in a cosmos reduced to ash. The Fallen One remains one of the most striking versions of the Silver Surfer, a figure who embodies defiance in the face of annihilation and the enduring will to fight, even when all hope has been lost. The Entropy Hulk is a terrifying form of the Hulk revealed in Immortal Hulk. This incarnation emerges when Bruce Banner becomes the chosen vessel of the One Below All, a cosmic being that embodies absolute destruction. The One Below All is the dark counterpart of the One Above All, imprisoned within the Below Place, an infernal dimension beneath the multiverse. Through Hulk, this malevolent force manifests its power, twisting rage into an unstoppable weapon of annihilation. In Immortal Hulk number 25, this Hulk grows vast enough to rival the Celestials, with a single strike capable of obliterating entire planets. By Immortal Hulk number 50, Bruce uncovers the truth. Every outburst of Hulk's fury had been opening the gateway for the One Below All to enter the living world. However, Bruce also realizes that the Hulk is not defined solely by rage, but by survival, born from the trauma, abuse, and grief that shaped him as a child. This understanding weakens the entity's hold, but the Entropy Hulk at its height remains one of the most dangerous forces in existence. Unlike earlier incarnations, this Hulk does not simply smash. It corrupts, consumes, and twists reality itself, drawing souls into eternal torment. It is less a physical being and more a demonic embodiment of destruction. The combination of the Hulk's raw might with the One Below All's essence turns him into a cosmic predator capable of unmaking entire star systems. The Entropy Hulk stands as the direct opposite of creation. Through this form, the One Below All seeks to reduce all existence into nothingness, yet Bruce's humanity prevents him from fully surrendering. His resistance transforms this incarnation into both a tragedy and a horror, reflecting his inner suffering amplified to universal scale. This version's power is staggering. Without the use of artifacts such as the Infinity Gauntlet, the Entropy Hulk demonstrates feats beyond even the Celestials, making him one of Marvel's most devastating entities. His ability to erase worlds, warp reality, and consume souls elevates him to the level of a satanic force, a living embodiment of entropy itself. Bruce's confrontation with the One Below All is both psychological and cosmic. It illustrates that even when transformed into a vessel of destruction, the Hulk's true essence remains survival. The Entropy Hulk is a chilling representation of pain and trauma unleashed across the stars, yet also proof that even against a god of ruin, Bruce's will to endure cannot be extinguished. In King in Black, Eddie Brock reaches his ultimate transformation, ascending from symbiote host to the god of light. This form emerges during Null's invasion of Earth. Null, the primordial god of the symbiotes born from the void before creation, commands an endless horde of symbiotes and overwhelms Earth's defenders, including the Avengers, the X-Men, and even cosmic forces. His hatred for light and life drives him to engulf the universe in darkness. During this invasion, the Enigma Force, a cosmic power representing pure light, selects Eddie as its champion. Empowered by this force, he becomes a radiant figure, armored in living light, shaped like his Venom symbiote, yet glowing with brilliance. His weapon of choice is a unique axe, forged from Mjolnir and the Silver Surfer's board, combining divine thunder with the power cosmic. Armed with this strength, Eddie confronts Null in direct combat where countless others had failed. Null attempts to drown him in darkness, but Eddie resists, strengthened by his resolve to protect Earth. In the final clash, Eddie hurls him into the sun, where cleansing light annihilates the symbiote god. Rather than returning to his former state, Eddie assumes a greater role. He becomes the new King in Black, not as a tyrant of shadows, but as a balanced guardian guiding the symbiote hive mind. No longer defined by vengeance, Eddie emerges as a protector, wielding his newfound cosmic role with responsibility and compassion. This transformation marks his evolution from a street-level anti-hero into a universal defender. The god of Light Venom embodies transcendence, redemption, and sacrifice. His command of both divine and cosmic weapons, combined with unyielding willpower, establishes him among Marvel's most powerful beings. Unlike Null's obsession with destruction, Eddie uses his authority to unify and safeguard. The god of Light Venom stands as the antithesis of darkness, a beacon across the multiverse. His triumph over Null demonstrates that even against a primordial force of annihilation, human determination can prevail. Eddie's acceptance of the King in Black mantle highlights his growth, proving that the greatest power lies not in domination, but in the choice to protect and rebuild. This incarnation of Venom remains one of Marvel's most significant transformations, a symbol that even a man once consumed by anger can rise to become a force of light for the entire cosmos. In Black Panther 2016, T'Challa rises beyond his role as Wakanda's ruler to become the King of the Dead, a divine incarnation granted by Bast, the Panther goddess. Through this blessing, he gains control of the Necroverse, a spiritual dimension containing the souls of Wakanda's ancestors. This bond allows him to command legions of the dead, elevating his power to a level comparable to the universe's most formidable forces. As King of the Dead, T'Challa wields necromantic magic in battle, blending it with his unmatched combat skill and tactical mastery. During the Galactic Empire of Wakanda storyline, he stands against the Shi'ar Empire, channeling the might of the Necroverse to defend his people. This connection gives him authority not only over the living, but also over the realm of the afterlife, transforming him into a monarch whose dominion stretches beyond mortal existence. T'Challa's strength in this form derives from the collective essence of countless Wakandan generations. Their unity empowers him with cosmic magnitude, enabling him to rival beings such as the Celestials. He is able to summon ancestral spirits as warriors, manipulate the boundary between life and death, and confront galactic empires with forces no army of the living could match. The King of the Dead represents more than battlefield power. He serves as a bridge between worlds, embodying both divine majesty and unshakable duty. His bond with Bast grants him a sacred aura, while his wisdom and devotion to his people define his reign. He becomes not only a king of a nation, but a guardian of the universal balance between mortality and eternity. This incarnation of T'Challa reshapes the meaning of kingship. His throne is supported by the spirits of Wakanda, and his authority extends beyond reality itself. The King of the Dead stands as a living legend, a hero empowered by the strength of his ancestors and the courage to wield it in defense of his people. Through the Necroverse, T'Challa embodies the resilience of Wakanda, proving that the greatest power is found in legacy and the bond between past and present. His command of the afterlife makes him both feared and revered, a monarch whose might challenges even the highest powers of the Marvel cosmos. The Void is the darker half of Robert Reynolds, also known as the Sentry. Where the Sentry represents light and hope, the Void embodies chaos and destruction. Born from Robert's insecurities and trauma, it manifests as a separate entity wielding power equal to or greater than the Sentry himself. The Sentry originally gained his immense strength from a cosmic experiment that granted him solar-based energy far beyond mortal limits. Yet when this power manifests as the Void, it reaches apocalyptic extremes. In Dark Avengers, the Void nearly annihilates Earth, reshaping matter, corrupting minds, and spreading devastation on a planetary scale. Only Robert's willingness to confront and restrain his own darkness prevents complete destruction. The Void's abilities extend far beyond raw force. It can distort reality, tear through dimensions, and manipulate matter on a cosmic level. Its influence is psychological as well as physical, preying on fear and despair to break opponents mentally before destroying them physically. Even heroes as powerful as Thor and Hulk have struggled against it. At its height, the Void's destructive potential rivals entities such as the Celestials, and could even threaten beings like Galactus or the Living Tribunal. Its chaotic nature, however, makes its actions unpredictable, turning it into a universal menace. The most terrifying aspect of the Void is its inseparable connection to the Sentry. Attempts to suppress one only strengthen the other, creating a cycle of endless conflict within Robert. The Void represents the catastrophic side of limitless power. It is the embodiment of malice, despair, and unrestrained destruction, making it not just a physical force, but a cosmic tragedy. Its existence warns that even the most radiant heroes carry shadows capable of unraveling everything they protect. This incarnation of Robert Reynolds remains one of Marvel's most dangerous threats, a figure of unchecked power whose battles are as much internal as they are cosmic. The Void endures as a haunting symbol of the fragile line between heroism and catastrophe, showing that the greatest danger may lie within the very source of ultimate strength. Binary is one of Carol Danvers' most powerful transformations, revealed during Uncanny X-Men when her abilities were elevated to a cosmic scale. After losing her Miss Marvel powers, when Rogue absorbed them, Carol was left devastated both physically and emotionally. While recovering under the care of the X-Men, she was captured by the Brood, a parasitic alien species. Their experiments on her half-human, half-Kree physiology unintentionally awakened her true potential, linking her directly to the energy of a white hole. Through this bond, Carol became Binary, a being of stellar magnitude. She could manipulate the entire electromagnetic spectrum, unleash heat equal to a star, and release blasts rivaling a supernova. Her form allowed her to travel faster than light, survive unaided in the vacuum of space, and fight on par with some of the universe's most powerful entities. As Binary, Carol joined the Starjammers, a team of spacefaring warriors led by Corsair, the father of Cyclops. With them, she faced intergalactic threats, her abilities standing alongside or even surpassing those of top-tier Avengers, and occasionally rivaling the strength of Celestials. She functioned as a living star, able to absorb radiation, bend physics with her energy output, and radiate solar-level heat. Although prolonged use eventually reduced her ability to sustain this form, fragments of Binary's power never fully disappeared. Later, in Captain Marvel, Carol experienced flashes of this transformation through memories, dreams, and sudden bursts of cosmic energy, reminding allies and enemies alike of her limitless potential. Binary represents more than raw strength. This incarnation symbolizes Carol's resilience, showing how she transformed loss and trauma into unmatched cosmic power. By wielding stellar forces, she transcended the limits of both her human and Kree heritage, becoming a hero capable of standing against universal threats like Galactus. Her time with the Starjammers highlighted her adaptability, proving she was as capable in cosmic wars as she was in Earth's battles. Even after losing this form, the legend of Binary endures, marking her as more than a terrestrial protector. She is a force of nature, embodying renewal and the ability to rise stronger after being broken. Binary remains one of Carol Danvers' most awe-inspiring incarnations, a beacon of power and perseverance whose light shines across the cosmos. Cosmic Ghost Rider is one of Marvel's wildest and most unpredictable creations, first appearing in Thanos 2016. This version of Frank Castle fuses three identities into one: Punisher, Ghost Rider, and a Herald of Galactus, resulting in a deranged anti-hero wielding unfathomable power. In a grim future where Thanos has wiped out nearly all life, Frank Castle makes a deal with Mephisto to become the Spirit of Vengeance, continuing his endless crusade of punishment. But with no one left alive to judge, Frank is left to wander a desolate Earth in solitude, slowly descending into madness. Salvation arrives when a dying Galactus recruits him as a herald. Bestowed with the power cosmic, Frank transforms into something entirely new, the Cosmic Ghost Rider. Armed with hellfire, cosmic energy, and a chain-wielding spacefaring motorcycle, he becomes a destructive force across galaxies, crushing threats in Galactus's name. When Thanos ultimately kills Galactus, he spares Frank, seeing value in his chaos, and makes him his twisted enforcer during his tyrannical reign as King Thanos. In a desperate attempt to rewrite destiny, he kidnaps the infant Thanos, hoping to raise him into a better man. This bizarre experiment in cosmic parenting collapses under the weight of inevitability, proving fate is not so easily undone. In terms of power, Cosmic Ghost Rider stands among Marvel's most dangerous beings. He can fly faster than light, conjure energy constructs, channel hellfire potent enough to incinerate star systems, and regenerate from almost any injury. His hybrid nature makes him uniquely unpredictable, combining Ghost Rider's demonic judgment with the limitless energy of Galactus's heralds. What makes him truly stand out, however, is his personality. Despite wielding apocalyptic strength, Frank retains his Punisher core, cynical, sarcastic, and often darkly hilarious. His twisted humor recalls Deadpool, but filtered through the grim lens of a war-torn vigilante who has lost everything. Cosmic Ghost Rider is a paradox, an unstoppable killer, a cosmic pawn, and an anti-hero searching for redemption in his own warped way. His loyalty to Thanos is offset by flashes of rebellion, his madness balanced by moments of humanity. Even with godlike abilities, he cannot escape the weight of his past, which makes his story both tragic and strangely endearing. Blending hellfire, cosmic force, and relentless wit, Cosmic Ghost Rider has become one of Marvel's most unique and fan-favorite figures. Superman 1,000,000 is the direct descendant of Kal-El, originating in the 853rd century, a time when the Justice League evolved into a pantheon guiding countless worlds and when Earth's influence spanned entire galaxies. He spent 15,000 years inside the heart of the sun, absorbing limitless solar energy until his very being surpassed all Kryptonian boundaries. Emerging from this millennia of transformation, he gained abilities that reshaped the definition of power. He wielded near limitless strength, the capacity to bend reality, the mastery of time itself, heightened senses that far exceeded comprehension, and even the ability to restore life to the deceased. His awareness stretched across the cosmos, capable of hearing prayers from distant galaxies, while his mind alone could halt collapsing stars and restrain black holes. During the events of DC 1,000,000, when the immortal conqueror, Vandal Savage, allied with Solaris, the tyrant sun, to launch a devastating assault on Earth, Superman 1,000,000 returned and defeated them with ease. Unlike earlier versions of Kal-El, whose power had measurable limits, this incarnation transcended mortal definitions of strength, speed, or intellect. He phased through dimensions, existed on a cosmic timescale, and carried so much solar energy that within his Fortress of Solitude, he created an entire self-contained universe. His long existence was sustained by continuous solar regeneration, rendering him immune to age or decay. Where past iterations such as Superman Prime, Superman of Kingdom Come, or Superman Red Sun each had immense might, none approached the sheer divinity of this figure. Superman 1,000,000 embodied the pinnacle of patience, endurance, and the ultimate destiny of Kryptonian evolution. After answering the universe's call one final time, he returned to the sun, where his vigil continued. Clad in his golden suit, he represented power perfected, time expanded, and divinity realized. Kyle Rayner achieved what no member of the Lantern Corps had ever accomplished. Rather than mastering only willpower, he learned to command every emotion on the spectrum: rage, fear, love, compassion, hope, and avarice. This mastery allowed him to ascend into the state of the White Lantern, a direct embodiment of life's force across the universe. As a White Lantern, his powers extended far beyond symbolic meaning. He could restore the dead, alter the laws of existence, and channel the raw energy of life on a universal scale. He repaired collapsed realities, purged entire worlds of lingering death energy, and stabilized the fragile foundation of the emotional spectrum itself. In Green Lantern New Guardians issue 20, he overcame beings such as the Archangel Invictus and subdued the uncontrollable entities that powered each Lantern Corps. Where most wielders failed to control even one emotion without destruction, Kyle balanced all of them at once while maintaining order throughout the cosmos. This was not a fleeting surge of strength. Kyle retained his White Lantern state for an extended period, placing himself at the center of cosmic battles and enduring challenges that even Hal Jordan, bearer of the most renowned Green Lantern ring, could not contain. The Guardians of the Universe regarded him as a rare anomaly, while enemies saw him as a threat to universal balance itself. While other Lanterns abided by codes written into their core, Kyle reshaped the rules entirely. His willpower did not simply command his ring, it reshaped existence around him. Eventually, the strain of the White Lantern's energy became unstable, forcing him to relinquish the power before it destroyed him. Yet during that era, Kyle Rayner stood as the most complete Lantern of all time, a being of equilibrium, vitality, and near-divine presence. During the events of Justice League, the Darkseid War, Bruce Wayne gained access to the Mobius Chair, an ancient device created by the New Gods that grants its user unlimited knowledge across all space and time. By sitting upon it, Bruce was transformed into the God of Knowledge, a being no longer limited by human reasoning. He instantly understood every secret, every hidden identity, and every answer the universe could provide. The first questions he asked revealed the weight of his new perspective. He demanded to know the true killer of his parents, followed by the mystery of the Joker's identity. The chair responded not with one answer, but with three, unsettling Bruce in ways nothing else could. From that point, he wielded omniscience within Gotham City, solving crimes before they unfolded, teleporting across the city, exposing lies without hesitation, and even reaching across time itself to influence outcomes without ever leaving the chair. What made this transformation dangerous was not only the information he possessed, but the change it caused in him. With access to endless knowledge, Bruce began treating others as if they were pieces in a grand strategy, moving lives and events like a tactician with absolute control. Hal Jordan pleaded with him to abandon the chair, recognizing that even among the Justice League, Bruce had shifted into something entirely different. The Mobius chair was never intended for human use, and its influence began eroding his humanity, replacing his emotions with cold detachment. Realizing the cost of remaining bound to it, Bruce eventually stepped away before it consumed him completely. Still, during that time, he embodied absolute truth. Unlike any other version of himself, this Dark Knight required no preparation, no technology, and no strategy. He was the plan itself. The Darkseid most often encountered by the Justice League or seen in battles across universes is never his true self. Those versions are only avatars, fragments of his essence scaled down to exist within conventional reality. The authentic Darkseid exists outside time, beyond space, and above the multiverse itself. In Final Crisis and the Multiversity, only glimpses of this higher state were revealed, presenting not merely a powerful enemy, but a cosmic constant that defines destruction. When even a fraction of his essence entered Earth's dimension, the universe destabilized, time fractured, the structure of space bent, and even the concept of death itself faltered. This form does not rely on physical force. Instead, he rewrites existence. Through the anti-life equation, he speaks words that erase free will, reducing all who hear it to absolute submission. Entire pantheons of gods have fallen before him. Green Lantern Corps have been undone, and Martian Manhunter once described his mere presence as a black hole of identity, erasing individuality wherever it spread. When he was destroyed, his fall poisoned creation itself, infecting time across the multiverse. Even at his highest strength, Superman has only faced the Avatars, which alone were powerful enough to nearly annihilate the League. Against the true Darkseid, there is no battle, only survival against the weight of his existence. The only forces that have resisted him are the most fundamental entities of creation, including the Presence, the Source, and the combined strength of the Monitor Brothers. Darkseid in this form is not simply an adversary. He is inevitability itself, a built-in apocalypse underlying the structure of reality. Every depiction known through battles or stories, whether in animation or in print, reflects only a shadow of the being. The true Darkseid remains beyond them all, looming above the multiverse, corroding everything with his very existence. In DC's future state, Raven abandoned her restraint and fully embraced the darker side of her soul, transforming into the Unkindness, a cosmic extinction event clothed in feathers and shadow. This was not the result of a spell or temporary surge of magic. She reached this state after merging with her own future self and uniting with the four horsemen of the apocalypse. As the Unkindness, she no longer experienced or transmitted emotion. Instead, she erased it. She consumed empathy, devoured souls, and collapsed entire timelines with ease. Her very presence distorted dimensions, unraveling magical defenses instantly. Even the most skilled sorcerers, including John Constantine, were powerless against her ascension. Trigon, who once loomed as her greatest threat, was rendered insignificant, completely overshadowed by her newfound dominion. The Teen Titans, who had always been her anchor, found themselves powerless. They could not reach her through compassion, nor confront her through combat. Before any resistance could mount, she erased full realities, sweeping away existence as if it were fragile dust. Inside her mind, there was no fury or vengeance fueling this destruction, only emptiness. The empath who once connected with every living heart had become a void that devoured connection itself. Armies, sorcery, and divergent futures were thrown against her path of devastation, yet none endured. The Unkindness destroyed those possibilities without effort. The only force that halted her progress was not triumph by heroes, but a reset of the multiverse itself, a structural restart that erased her momentum by erasing the board she stood upon. This incarnation represented the ultimate end of Raven's potential, not corruption, not possession, but a natural evolution into something elemental and final. She was no longer a protector or even an adversary. She was inevitability. John Johns, known as the Martian Manhunter, has always ranked among the most powerful beings in the DC universe, wielding vast telepathy, shape-shifting, intangibility, and immense physical strength. Yet one weakness defined him, an innate terror of fire embedded in all Martians. In the JLA storyline, his mind finally broke through that fear. In doing so, he shed his restraints and reverted to his true origin as Fernus, a burning Martian. The burning Martians were not guardians or peacekeepers. They were living infernos, a warlike species built to conquer and annihilate. Once John cast aside Outside fear, all limits dissolved. Fernus ignited, leveling entire cities within moments. He dismantled the Justice League on his own. The Flash could not outrun him. Green Lantern's constructs disintegrated. Even Superman was overwhelmed by the sheer heat radiating from his body. This destruction was not wild or uncontrolled. Fernus attacked with precision, guided by Jon's full intellect, but stripped of his compassion. He absorbed heat to strengthen himself, unleashed psychic blasts that could liquefy minds, and regenerated endlessly through combustion. Batman's analysis concluded that if left uncontained, Fernus would ignite Earth's entire atmosphere, consuming the planet in flame. The League realized brute strength could not win. Their only path to survival was reviving Plastic Man, the one being immune to Furnus's fire. Without him, Earth would have fallen. Fernus represented not an empowered Martian manhunter, but the true nature of Martians before fear was engineered into their species. This incarnation surfaced only once, burning through every defense and nearly ending Earth's existence. When defeated, he was locked deep inside Jon's psyche, a reminder of the catastrophic force waiting should the Martians' fear of fire ever vanish again. During the Justice League Dark The Witching Hour storyline, Diana of Themyscira unlocked a form unlike any other, the Witchmarked. Already a demigod, Amazon warrior, and champion of peace, she was chosen by Hecate, goddess of witchcraft, and branded since childhood with a hidden seal of chaos magic. This mark was not a gift, but a concealed weapon, lying dormant for years until it finally awakened. When the Witchmark erupted, Diana's powers surged to levels beyond comprehension. She bent reality itself, wielded divine chaos, and even challenged entities such as the Parliament of Trees and the Lords of Order. Her lasso of truth no longer served as a tool of honesty. Instead, it reshaped destiny. Her eyes burned with pure arcane force, and her presence tore through magical defenses as if they were fragile illusions. Even John Constantine admitted she had ascended beyond containment. With this transformation active, Diana disrupted the foundations of the magical realm. Zatanna, Swamp Thing, and the entire Justice League Dark struggled merely to limit the devastation left in her wake. Hecate's plan was to use her as a vessel to erase the existing order of gods and replace it with chaos-born avatars. Yet Diana resisted, seizing control of the Witchmark, redirecting its destructive intent, and ultimately severing her bond with Hecate at the risk of her own life. This incarnation of Wonder Woman was not defined by strength alone, but by unpredictability. The Witchmark challenged her very identity, twisting her role as protector into a weapon of magical extinction. Though the mark eventually faded, the scars of that transformation remained. The mystical world has not forgotten the moment when Diana nearly tore apart the balance of magic itself. Jonathan Crane, long known as the Scarecrow, built his life around fear. He studied it, weaponized it, and lived obsessed with its power. During the events of Blackest Night, his obsession was rewarded when a yellow power ring, fueled by terror itself, chose him as a bearer. In that moment, Gotham's master of fear became something far greater, a member of the Sinestro Corps. The transformation was instant. His toxins and gases became obsolete, replaced by an aura that inflicted crippling dread simply through his presence. He soared through the skies, shaping constructs from nightmares, and attacked with ruthless precision. Gotham had always been haunted by dangerous rogues, but Scarecrow in this state embodied fear itself. For him, it was not overwhelming, it was intoxicating. After years of obsession, he finally felt vindicated, chosen by a cosmic force to embody the very thing he worshipped. With the ring, Crane did not act like a rampaging villain. He treated the world as an experiment. Earth became his laboratory, its population his test subjects, and fear the instrument of his research. Every act of terror was deliberate, calculated, and savored. Even Batman, who once dismissed him as pathetic compared to other foes, acknowledged that with the ring, Scarecrow was a threat on a universal scale. Sinestro himself recognized Crane's brilliance, but also his instability, declaring his mind too dangerous to remain within the core. The Justice League could not ignore him, for the ring amplified his fixation into something that shook the very foundation of the planet. Ultimately, the yellow ring was taken back, not because Crane had failed, but because he had become too consumed by its influence, a danger even to the core that empowered him. For one night, fear reigned in Gotham, not through toxins or illusions, but as living reality. Jonathan Crane, chosen King of Terror, ruled by the power he had craved his entire life. In the Emperor Joker storyline, the Clown Prince of Crime gained access to 99% of Mr. fifth-dimensional power. With that energy, Joker did not simply seize Gotham, he rewrote existence itself, molding the universe into his personal stage where he served as judge, ruler, and eternal punchline. His imagination dictated reality. Batman was killed and resurrected daily for amusement. The Justice League was transformed into grotesque parodies of themselves. The laws of physics, life, and death shifted on his whim, turning Earth into a living joke book. Superman, stripped of his strength, could only watch as Joker reshaped everything into chaos. The scope of this reign was not conquest, but improvisation at the highest level. Joker rewrote gods, turned the Spectre into background laughter, forced Doomsday into tears, and filled the afterlife with endless gags and traps. Mr. himself admitted that combining Joker's unstable mind with such limitless power created a danger beyond calculation. What made this version terrifying was not destruction alone, but creativity without restraint. His madness, no longer confined to schemes or murders, was magnified into godhood. Everything he ever dreamed became reality, not for domination, but for entertainment. The universe endured only because he eventually grew bored, allowing an opening for Superman to join forces and reset creation, stripping him of his stolen abilities. For that brief window, Joker stood untouchable and immortal, reshaping all of existence into a twisted cartoon where terror and humor were the same. In Justice League, the Darkseid War, Barry Allen crossed a line no speedster had ever reached. He merged with the Black Racer, the living embodiment of death in the DC universe, and in that instant became the god of death. This was not a symbolic title. Every step he took delivered an execution. Each movement carried finality, erasing whatever could not keep pace. The Black Racer did not consume him, it chose him, and Barry accepted. His speed was no longer just velocity, it was inevitability. With this transformation, he sensed every death across the multiverse, knowing where endings were required and striking with flawless precision. During the war between Darkseid and the Anti-Monitor, Barry ended the conflict in a single pass, racing through both Titans and delivering death itself. More than execution, he surpassed the Racer's former limits, taking command of its essence and wielding death as if it were another force of the speed. Not even gods escaped his reach, and not even time could shield against him. In those moments, the heart of the Justice League, long known for hope, became its most efficient killer. The change did not endure. Barry eventually forced separation from the Black Racer, returning to himself. Yet for that brief period, he was no longer a man chasing time. He was death running at full speed. No other Flash, whether Jay Garrick, Wally West, or any future incarnation, has ever approached that scale of finality.